So people are just joining. Welcome, those of you
Welcome.
who are here, and for people who weren't here last year. If this is your first time being on our virtual cooking extravaganza, that's the name for it. That's what it's gonna be. I'm Jessica. Let's see. I'm gonna have people raise their hands on Team EvoReal here. We got Matt. We have our fearless leader tonight, which is Stacey. She's going to be our cooking.
Yay, Stacey!
We have Sarah White over there. We've got Julia McMahon. Hi, Julia. We have Crystal Allison. There she is. We got Catherine Bradford.
Sarah James.
There's Catherine. We got Sarah Jane. Hi, Sarah. We've got Cindy McCann and Kelly McCann. Hi, Kelly.
Hello.
We got Dan Wilson in the house. Look. And Shale, where's she? There's Shalele, as we like to call him. Or Hi, Shalele. Anyway, people are still coming in, so we're going to keep letting them come in. Just to reiterate, if you're cooking with us, you can start gathering some of the stuff on the list. That's a list.
Too.
What's that?
Post it.
Oh, where's Brittany? There she is. Hi, Brittany. I didn't see you there. Wonderful. We're just lots of people coming on, so we're going to let them keep on coming. Keep on coming. Do we have anybody that is on here that is not in Spokane right now? Anybody? Someone further away than Spokane?
Spokane Valley up in here.
Spokane Valley, is it accounted and present for? Millwood?
Yep, Millwood.
Wonderful.
We got Liberty Lake.
Liberty Lake.
Hi, Charlene. Hi, Lynn.
I just posted the ingredients list if anybody is missing it in the chat.
Right.
Jessica and I are in the same space, so we're sharing an audio, which means when I'm talking, you see her face. So every once in a while, I'll have to do this where I dominate the screen and you can see me, but it'll still probably delay my lips. Do I look like I'm in a foreign film?
Yes.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. A couple of quick things, just to give an idea of our agenda tonight. So obviously we've introduced Stacey, who is our resident chef for the evening.
Yeah, give her
Here,
some spotlight there.
We'll spotlight her as well. I think I can spotlight two of us. Look at us, we're together, a dynamic duo. I am just gonna try and keep this thing flowing technologically, so hopefully I don't cause too much for distraction. So Stacey's gonna be our chef guiding us through this evening. We'll have about a 20-minute at the beginning. We'll take a quick little break, and then there's about a half an hour of the next phase before we put it into the oven. And then while it's baking, we've got some plans. We've got some drawings, some gift cards that we're going to give away today. Our gift cards are...
Oh yeah, these are good.
These are going to be good ones. We're not doing lame ones. Kitchen Engine, $50 to Kitchen Engine, which is a kitchen supply store. $50 to Twigs, for those of you that don't actually like to cook but like to eat. And then $50 to Wanderlust, which is downtown across from Auntie's bookstore on that block there. And they have meats and cheeses and wines. And I think they also periodically will do cooking classes as well. So we thought that all of those gifts would be kind of in the theme for the evening. So Stace, any initial kind of instructions as we wait for just a few more people to pop in?
Can we take out our puff pastries, Stace?
Well, okay. So if your puff pastry is frozen, take it out of the freezer and put it on your countertop so it can thaw out a little bit. If it's been sitting on your countertop for longer than an hour, it's probably going to be too warm, so just pop it in the fridge. If it's been sitting in your fridge, then you can go ahead and bring it out and put it on your countertop. Puff pastry is super fickle, and I'll explain later why we need it to be a little bit cold to work with, but that's kind of the general gist of how we want to get started.
Awesome. Thanks, Stace. Just a couple of things as we're getting started here. I want to thank all of our VIPs. Our VIPs, hold on, that's not actually the screen I was intending to share, but that's one of our, he's a VIP because he is our signature sponsor.
No, you're sharing the VIP.
I am?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't actually see what I'm sharing. This is exciting. This is an exciting moment for me. I have no idea what's going on.
Here, maybe look at mine.
Yeah, I'll look at yours and I can see what's happening. So our VIPs, thank you, because we wouldn't be doing this without you. Our VIPs are the people in the last year that bought or sold a house with us or referred someone to buy or sell a house for us. So you got a special gift, which Jessica showed you. And I don't know if you can see it, but a little spatula and pastry brush. So thank you very much.
And special drinks.
And some special drinks. Yes, absolutely. So, and then we also have our sponsors that I want to thank. We'll talk about them a little bit later as well. Dan Evans from Country Financial. You can see he's our signature sponsor right here. And then also Tony Byrne right down here from Heritage Home Loans, one of our sponsors. And even though we're doing this virtually, it does cost us money to send out invitations and give away gift cards at the end and all that kind of stuff. So we're really grateful and appreciative of our sponsors. Just a couple of quick housekeeping things. You are free to unmute yourself and ask questions. I will be watching the chat if you want to put things into the chat. If you have like notifications, this is especially for all of our realtor crew on there, maybe silence your computer notifications so that you're not getting a bunch of text dinging through, or just mute your computer. So anyway, I think with that, we should unspotlight me and kick it over to Stacey, and let's get cooking, girlfriend.
All right, awesome. Excuse me. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is preheat our oven to 425. If it's already preheating, we wanna make sure that we have a rack in the middle. So if you need to get some oven gloves or a towel, make sure you have a rack in the middle, and then go ahead and preheat to 425 on a bake setting. Second thing, I just talked about the puff pastry. We want it to be a little on the cooler side while we're working with it, because puff pastry has butter in it. And if it gets too warm, then it gets really like doughy and you can't do much with it. So mine was sitting out on my countertop. It was a little too spongy when I just gently kind of gave it a squeeze. So I just put mine back in the fridge so it can cool off and firm up a little bit, because we're not going to use it just yet. So if yours has been sitting on your counter for over an hour or so, just go ahead and plop it in the fridge for now. And then before I get into what we're making tonight, the other technical thing that I want to talk about is your spinach. If you have frozen spinach, it should have been thawing out. If it's not quite thawed out, if it's still a little bit frozen, go ahead and pop it on a microwave safe plate and throw it in your microwave for 1 or 2 minutes, so that it can just thaw out and not be frozen. I have been thawing mine in my sink. If yours is thawed out, what we're gonna do is we're going to get a colander. Any kind of strainer will work. And we're just gonna throw the spinach in here so it can start to drain off some of its water, okay? So that's gonna be, so oven, puff pastry, and spinach. We wanna do that right now. And then we're gonna talk a little bit about what we're making. All right. I'm gonna get myself a towel. Okay. So what we are making tonight is called a Tarte Soleil. Sounds very fancy. It looks fancy. It means basically sun pastry in French, right? So if you're having a group of people over and you want to impress them with something that looks fancy, but it's really not hard to make, this is a great appetizer. It comes together really easily. Essentially, we're going to kind of be doing it in chunks, like Matt said. First thing we're going to do is mix a bunch of ingredients together. Then we're going to bring in the puff pastry. I'll show you how to incorporate that. And then it just needs to bake. So overall, from start to finish, if you do this a couple of times, you'll have it under your belt in no time. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and start chopping stuff. So get your knife handy, get your mixing bowl handy. And first thing we're going to do is grab our green onion. And we're going to just, I'd say moderately to finely chop your green onion. It doesn't have to be on the diagonal or anything like that. And you can even use the white part. So you're going to chop it right down to the hair down here. And I'm going to tilt myself forward so you guys can see my board. And I cut mine all the way down to the nub right there. So throw the nub away. And then we're going to gather up our green onion and toss it into our mixing bowl over here. Next, we're going to chop our dill. Now, if you got fresh dill, great. This is what I got. If you have dried dill or freeze-dried dill, the kind that you can kind of keep in the fridge, it's a little bit in between dried and fresh, that works too. If you have fresh dill, it's going to be a little bit stronger of a flavor. It's just a different flavor. Either way, it doesn't matter, just use what you got. And we're going to do about 2 tablespoons. First thing you want to do is take the ferns here off of the stems, because we don't want the stems, we just want the leafy part. And it smells divine. I love dill. I know some people don't.
Do you chew green onions? Are you gonna ask her?
Was that 2 green onions or?
2 green onions, yes. If you like the flavor of green onion, you can add more if you like. But I would say minimum 2. So I got my dill together and I'm just gonna give it a chop.
What about this? I didn't get fresh.
Where are you? Do you have dried?
Yes.
That's fine. So with dried, you still want to do about 2 tablespoons. It's
2
still going to
tablespoons,
give off enough of a flavor. This thing is not going to taste like dill. We don't want it to taste like dill. But what the dill does is essentially it just kind of plays off of the other flavor combinations. So while dried is normally a little bit stronger than fresh, dried dill, it's not too much stronger. So you'll be just fine with dried.
Stacey, question about the thawed. How thawed is the spinach supposed to be as far as in the microwave?
Just as long as it's not frozen, if that makes sense. It can be.
It doesn't need to be hot. It doesn't need to be hot or steaming. It just
does not need to be hot. Actually, it shouldn't be hot. If it is hot after you microwave it, then just let it cool off in the sink while you're draining it. Okay.
So that was my question. Mine is like has a couple of chunks that are still maybe frozen. Is that going to hinder the straining process, or is it probably okay if most of it's thawed?
If most of it's thawed, I think you'll be fine. What will happen is we're going to wind up adding it to everything else, and then you're going to use your spoon or your spatula to kind of stir everything, and you can break up those chunks as long as it's not too frozen. Right. Everyone good so far? Okay. So next, what we're going to do, we have our green onion in the bowl. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. We have our dill in the bowl. We're going to grab our feta. Now, the recipe had said feta and brine or crumbled. And I get it's really hard to find feta in brine. So I just got crumbled. Whatever feta you got is totally fine. If you have block feta, you're gonna wind up crumbling it into the bowl anyway. So recipe calls for 2/3 of a cup. You can measure that out directly, or if you like feta cheese, such as myself, you can freehand it. There's no such thing as too much feta cheese, in my opinion. If you got crumbled, some of them have bigger chunks like this, some of them have smaller. So with the bigger chunks, just hold them between your fingers and just kind of crumble them in the bowl. So we're gonna add approximately 2/3 of a cup. Now, when I did the trial run of this, personally, I thought it could use more feta. So for me, I'm gonna add more tonight, and I'm just gonna freehand it because I can kind of know what 2/3 of a cup looks like. And I know that I wanna add more. Now, bear in mind, feta is a salty cheese. We're gonna add some salt and pepper into this a little bit later. In my opinion, again, last time, I thought it could have used a little bit more salt. So just watch your flavors. When you're mixing stuff with feta, feta is inherently salty, which is good. So you don't want to add too much more salt in after that. Okay, next is going to be our garlic. So I've the recipe calls for 2 garlic cloves. I had a really big bulb of garlic, so I have 1 garlic clove, but it's really fat. Now I'm going to teach you a little trick into peeling garlic, so you're not sitting here trying to peel it off with your fingertips. You're going to place the garlic clove down. Now, if it's kind of curved, you want the curvy side up. And you're going to take your knife, and down here at the base of your knife, you're going to hold it over the garlic clove here, and you're just going to give a quick pound like that. And when you do that, the skin just naturally falls away. Like that. And mine just kind of broke into 2, which is fine. What we're gonna do, you have 2 options. You can get your zester, or you can just chop your garlic really, really finely. What we're gonna do is put the garlic into the bowl now, either minced or use your zester. If you're using a zester or grater, you can use a box grater so long as it has kind of smaller spokes like this. Be careful with your knuckles because they can easily get scratched as you're doing this. So just go slow, be careful. If you have remaining garlic chunks, you can just cut them up nice and fine and toss them in. And then I'm just gonna kind of scrape the leftovers down. Keep my zester handy. I had some leftover garlic chunks that I'm just gonna chop up nice and fine. And drop that into the bowl. And one thing is when you're cooking with garlic, you're gonna get sticky fingers and smelly fingers. That's natural. I'm gonna show you a little tip when you are washing your hands after the garlic, everything will stick to it. One thing is you can find one of these guys online. It's a stainless steel bar. When you wash your hands in water against stainless steel, it'll remove the stick and the stink of garlic. This is super cheap. You can find it anywhere, possibly at the Kitchen Engine, online, on an Amazon or something like that. Another thing you can do is take your knife, and when you're washing your hands, rub your fingers against the blade, also stainless steel. It'll also help keep the stick and the stink away. So I'm gonna wash my hands real quick.
That was worth the price of admission right there. Like I needed that tip, Stacey.
And literally all you got to do if you have one of these is just rub it like you would a bar of soap.
You've seen those things. I don't know how it works.
So if I have a
Maybe
stainless
side
steel
household
appliance,
knew
I
what it
can
was.
just rub my hands all over it. You could just use your refrigerator there, Stace.
I might not recommend that. I mean, you could use your fridge. You can't use mine. How about that? All right. Next step. We're still just putting ingredients in a bowl. We're going to get our lemon. And what we're going to do is we're going to zest this entire lemon into the bowl. Now, if you've never zested a lemon before, super easy. You take your zester or your small spoke grater, and you're just going to rub the lemon on top of the zester like this. Now, when you're zesting a fruit like this, as you go, you're going to notice that you start seeing white spots on your fruit. Once you see white, stop in that area and move to another area, because the white spot is the pith, and that's what makes the peel really bitter, and you don't want any of that in here. The zest is really bright and tart, and it just elevates the taste of everything here. But once you get that pith in it and it's bitter, it just kind of ruins the flavor a little bit. If you get a little bit in, it's not going to kill your dish. Just don't zest it all the way down to the meat of the lemon, okay? And then all you got to do is just keep rotating that fruit all the way around. And the zest of one lemon seems like a lot. And then this dish, when you're done, you will be able to taste the lemon. We had a question when we were making it last time, if you like lemon flavor, if you can add another lemon. You could, but I think that it would easily overpower the other flavors, because this does come out, and though it's not like lemon forward, you can definitely taste it. And I personally definitely think that it's enough with this dish. So you just keep turning this around and around.
I concur with that, Stace. I love lemon, and I was pleased that I did not add more last time.
Yeah, same. Lemon is like my favorite. It's my jam, but I think more would have been too much. And now also keep in mind, once you zest a lemon, you need to use it relatively quickly, probably within a day or two. Otherwise, it's just not going to keep, because you're essentially taking its skin off. So last time I zested a whole lemon, I used the rest of it, I think like a day or two later, and it was fine, but it had started to dry out. So you just don't want to let it go much beyond that. All right. My lemon is peeled. I'm going to put this off to the side, not peeled, zested. And I'm just going to drag my finger down the back of the zester to get all of that good stuff in. If you're ever making like lemon anything, a dessert, or even if you're just cooking dinner, if you want to add a little bit of brightness to your dish, and I know that's a very loose term, a little bit of acidity goes a long way. If something is very heavy or rich, like a sauce, a creamy sauce or something, a little bit of lemon zest will just make the flavors in your mouth be like ping pong table. It'll go bananas, and it's delicious. Okay. If you're still zesting your lemon, it's fine. Our next step
Hey,
is we're gonna,
Stacey,
yeah,
I have a couple of ideas for what to do with your lemon.
okay,
Juice it for margaritas. Or
perfect.
I like to juice mine and I'll freeze them in ice cube trays and pop them in soups or chickens or whatever else, another drink of some sort.
Absolutely. Lemon juice can be used in almost everything that you make. So yeah, if you don't think you're going to use your lemon right away, absolutely juice it and then keep it in the fridge. Yeah, that's a great idea. I like the margarita idea too, very much. Okay, I'm going to move on to the spinach next. What we're going to do first, your spinach is draining and it should have cooled down by now if you had to microwave it. We are going to wring the water out of the spinach. So grab yourself a kitchen towel that you don't mind getting a little spinach on it, okay? You're gonna dump your spinach into the kitchen towel, and then you're just gonna wring it, and we're gonna get all of that water out. It's gonna be a lot more watery than you expect, and there's probably gonna be less spinach to work with than you expect, but it's fine. So once you have your spinach in your towel, you're just gonna kind of wrap it all up to make sure that none is gonna fall out. It's in a little ball like this. And then you're just going to squeeze and wring. And all of that water is going to come out. And we really want to get it nice and wrung out. The reason being, obviously spinach has a lot of moisture in it. And when you cook with puff pastry, if you have moisture in whatever you're making and it doesn't bake all the way through, it's going to be soggy and not delicious. So we want to eliminate as much moisture as we can in this dish so that we don't wind up with a soggy pastry. I don't know if any of you watch Great British Baking Show. It's my favorite. And soggy pastries are a bad thing on that show. Soggy bottoms specifically.
I also just wanted to mention when we said we did this last time, we always do a test run as a team on these. And so last week, Stacey took us through this whole thing, which was super fun. So we get to do it twice, haha. No, but she did say that if you you can move the spinach to a different part of your towel. Like if one gets too wet, you can move it to another one. So I just did that and it's helpful.
Thanks for pointing that out, Jess. I forgot about that.
No worries.
Once your spinach is wrung out, bring it over to your cutting area, whether it's a cutting board or counter or whatever you're using. Disregard the towel. And I know when you buy spinach, you can buy cut leaf spinach or chopped spinach. It doesn't, or if you made your own spinach from fresh, it doesn't matter what you bought. We're just going to give it a rough chop right now so that all of the pieces are kind of the same size as what's already in our bowl. So if you can see my little lump of spinach right here, all I'm going to do is just roughly. Now I bought chopped spinach, so it was already chopped. But I'm just gonna chop it again, just to make sure there's no big chunks. And once you've given it a nice chop, then it's gonna go in the bowl. All right, and once it's in the bowl, we're gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper to kind of round everything out. So you can use fresh ground pepper, you can use just regular coarse black pepper, whatever you like, just a little tiny bit. And then same with salt. Again, you know, I was really kind of timid with the salt last time I made this, because I knew the feta had salt in it, but I feel like the salt, I needed a little bit more. So I'm gonna add a little bit more than I did last time. I would say last time we added about 1/4 teaspoon. I would say this time, definitely add between 1/2 to a full teaspoon. Because I really think that that's just gonna help kind of bring out the best flavors in this. Also, since we're giving away a gift card to Kitchen Engine, I got this tiny little salt scoop at Kitchen Engine, and it's about a teaspoon, and it's my favorite thing ever. Okay, we have all of our stuff in the bowl now, and all we're gonna do is mix it around. Get it nice and together so we can kind of blend all the flavors. Make sure that you're scraping the sides and the bottom, and it's going to be really dry. That's good. That's what we want. We don't really want any moisture in here. If you have excess moisture at the bottom of your bowl, try very carefully to drain it out if you can.
Yeah, a teaspoon of salt or a 1/2 teaspoon?
Between a 1/2 teaspoon to a full teaspoon, depending on how much feta you put in it, how salty you like your food, entirely up to you. On the low end, a 1/2 teaspoon. On the high end, a full teaspoon. The lemon zest.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say the lemon zest that we put in here is gonna help counteract the salt as well. That's what
The sound keeps cutting out. I missed the last like minute of what she said.
Oh, we're now just circling stuff. What is that called when you
Mixing.
Circling, guys, circling. Everybody just circle. It'll be fine. Maybe it's because I unmuted myself. Maybe that screwed things up. I just wanted to see how Kevin Weir was doing.
Are we circling left to right, Jess, or right to left? I'm just kind of curious as to.
I need to know what position the moon is in before I make that decision.
Okay.
Kevin's kind of killing it. It looks like, I think here. Oh, yeah, that's looking good. That's looking good.
Hey, Stace.
What's up? The last
I
quarter.
found it. I finally found the feta and brine
Where'd you get it?
at Fred Meyer, but I had to really, really look, and it's like very subtle, but
Nice.
man, it's so much better.
Trader Joe's, baby. They also had it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Costco I think has it too. What happens is the feta that comes in the chunk that comes in the brine has a much more authentic taste to it than the stuff that's already pre-crumbled. So it's just it tastes like a lot more like feta should. I mean, either way, I'm still gonna eat it and it's still delicious. It's just a different flavor, that's all. Not too different, but you know, slightly.
I love kind of watching everybody's like different like things that they're doing. They're different.
I've juiced my lemon.
There she get perfect. All right, I'm gonna mute myself. So Stacey, you're all in.
Well, so once everything is mixed in your bowl, your green onions, your dill, your lemon zest, your garlic, your feta, your spinach, your salt and pepper, all that's mixed in the bowl. And that's the end of kind of our first section here. So I'm going to toss it back over to Matt. I'm going to clean up my workstation a little bit. And then I'll see you back in a few minutes.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. So we're just going to, like, everybody can get a second to catch up to the point of mixing. I do, while we're catching up, I am going to just talk a little bit about our signature sponsor, Dan Evans with Country Financial. Dan does insurance. He does auto, he does home, he does life. I have a special story about Dan. Dan unfortunately wasn't feeling well tonight, so he could not join us. And I'm kind of calling him out a little bit. I think he might have been just nervous about cooking online here, but here's my favorite story about Dan. So Dan has been our personal insurance agent and broker for 20 years. I think he was our first and has been basically our only insurance agent. But my favorite story about Dan is Jessica calling him, who knows how many years after we had started working with him, asking him about roadside assistance because she had a flat tire at the kid's school and we didn't have roadside assistance. So not only was Dan like the most financially sound decision for us for our insurance, but he actually got in his car and drove across town and changed her tire because we didn't have roadside assistance at the time. Needless to say, we added it at that point because I don't think Dan was going to do that a second time. But anyway, Dan has been great to us, and if you do have any insurance needs, I highly recommend having him take a look at that. So
here, let me say something too. I'm a little bit afraid that someone's going to be like, "Well, don't you come and do tires?" I don't know if that's like for everybody or what, but I will say this, that listen, Matt and I are frugal to say the least. And we shop for insurance. We've been shopping for insurance since the moment we got insurance. And Dan still is competitive with it. Well, yeah, he's great. He's competitive. And we've had a lot of claims, you guys, because we have investment properties and stuff like that. And that's when the rubber hits the road, is when they actually have a claim. They do a great job. So I just wanted to like give him a shout out. And
I'm sorry, but that sounds like we're A, cheap, and B, we are accident prone.
Yeah, you know?
I think we should just send it back over to Stacey here. This is becoming problematic.
All right, you guys. So I'm going to let you know what we need for this next segment. We're going to need your puff pastry. You're going to need some flour. You are going to need 2 sheets of parchment paper that will fit on a baking sheet. Okay, so I would say probably no less than 9 by 13. Mine's bigger. I'm not sure what size this is, but I think this is like a 10 by 15 maybe. Okay, so 2 sheets of parchment paper and your baking sheet. You're gonna need an egg. You're gonna need a small bowl to crack the egg in. So we're gonna mix it. You are going to need your pastry brush. And you are going to need your 2-inch circumference. I have a little ramekin, not your 2-inch object, sorry. I have a little ramekin. You can use a shot glass. You can use anything round that's 2 inches or larger. You don't want it to be too big, but roughly this size. There you go. A little bowl like that will work. A little Tupperware, anything like that. And then you're going to need a bigger circular object. I'm going to go grab mine 1 second. Now I am grabbing a lid to a pot, anywhere between 10 to 12 inches in diameter. Okay. That's generally the size that you want. A lid to a pot works great if you have like a stock pot or a fry pan or anything like that. Okay. So everything is kind of off to the side away from your workspace right now. First thing we're going to do is crack our egg in our little bowl. And then make sure you don't have any shells in it. And then either using a whisk or a fork, we're just going to beat that egg till it's nice and smooth. Once that's done, fork can go away and your egg just put off to the side for now, okay? All right, we're gonna grab one of our sheets of parchment paper. Oh, I forgot to mention, you're also gonna need your rolling pin in this section as well. So we've got our parchment paper and we're gonna open our puff pastry. Now when you open your puff pastry, it probably is lightly floured, but we're gonna add a little bit more flour so it doesn't stick too much. Right now, we only need 1 of our puff pastry sheets. Any package that you buy is gonna come with 2, okay? And essentially it'll unfold into thirds. So what we're gonna do is unfold it, nice and easy. Take the paper out, if there's paper in there, throw it away. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some of my flour, lift up my puff pastry, hang on 1 second, and I'm gonna toss some flour underneath here. And then I'm gonna toss a little bit of flour on top, just again, so that my rolling pin does not stick. If it starts to stick while you're rolling it out, just add a little bit more flour, okay? So we're gonna grab our rolling pin. Now we're gonna start in the middle. And all we're gonna do is roll forward, roll back with a little bit of pressure. And essentially, what we're doing here is we're rolling our puff pastry out so it's big enough that eventually your big circular object is going to fit inside of the pastry. So definitely do some back and forth, but then also you want to go side to side. Now you can just kind of rotate like this, or you can just rotate your whole setup if that's easier for you. And all we're doing is just rolling out this pastry till it gets big enough. And you always want to start from the middle if you can. Don't be afraid to give it a little bit of elbow grease, just not too much. If it starts to get too thin, it's going to tear on you. Okay, so I rolled mine out. It looks big enough. I'm going to test it with my round object. and it does fit. So I'm gonna put my lid to my pan in the middle of my puff pastry. I'm gonna gently push. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab a knife. It can be a small paring knife. It doesn't have to be a big knife. All we're gonna be doing is tracing a circle around the edge of this pan, okay? So I'm gonna grab about, I think it's about a 7 or 8 inch knife. I'm just gonna hold my circular object in place, and I'm going to cut around the circumference. Once you've done that, remove your circular object, put it off to the side. We're gonna need it again. And then you're gonna pull away the edges. These are gonna be your scraps. Now you can hold on to these. You don't need them for this recipe, but 2 things. If your pastry tears throughout this process, you can use the excess pastry to kind of patch it up, or you can use your spare puff pastry to make something new, because you can kind of mold it again, roll it back out. You can make a dessert, you can make anything you want. I've got several ideas we can talk about when we have a break, but just kind of put this off to the side now. We're not gonna need it. And what we're gonna do, I'm losing my workspace here, is we're gonna take this whole piece of parchment paper here, and we're gonna put it onto our baking sheet, okay? Just like that, off to the side. Then bring your second piece of parchment paper in front of you. We're gonna do the same exact thing we just did to our second sheet of puff pastry. Anybody having any trouble?
Object?
What's that?
How big is the circular object again?
Between 10 to 12 inches.
Awesome.
So like a large lid for a pot.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Now, parchment paper, in its essence, is supposed to not be sticky. So you might ask, why are we adding flour if parchment paper doesn't stick? Well, you never know. Puff pastry is a very fickle thing to work with, and it can get very sticky very quickly, and then it can tear. Okay. So again, same thing. We're going to start in the middle, roll forward, roll back, and then rotate out to the side, same thing.
Seeing all these really diligent people out there working away. Bravo, everybody. We're such serious cooks here. Look how serious Melissa is. Serious cook. She's like, get that camera off of me.
I was just using the old Zoom feature.
Okay, remember, once it's rolled out enough and your round object fits in the middle, go ahead and gently press it down, and then just bring a knife and trace a circle around your round object to cut out the pastry. All right.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, I'm back to the dill. Don't highlight any Matt, please. Did you say the leaves that we're doing, or is it the stems?
The leaf, the fronds, so the fluffy part.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Stacey, I like your beer choice.
Thank you.
That is so good.
It's my favorite this time of
Yeah.
year. They also have a coffee one. I don't know if you've tried it yet, but it is delicious.
I have it, but that's way better out of a tap than out of a bottle.
Oh, agreed. 100%.
Oh my God.
I just need to install a kegerator in my house and then I'll be fine.
Oh, I'll be right over.
Perfect. All right. So hopefully everybody has had the chance to cut out their second pastry. What we're gonna do is we're gonna swap spaces. So you're gonna bring over the pastry you had on your cookie sheet. I'm gonna move my stuff out of the way and then move the one you just did kind of out of the way. We're gonna work on the cookie sheet. That way there's less handling of everything. And that way when we're done, we can just throw it in the oven, okay? Okay, now comes the fun part. We're gonna get our egg wash. We're gonna get our pastry brush. We're gonna dip it into the egg wash. And then we're gonna go around the edges of the pastry about roughly half an inch or so. What this is gonna do eventually is be able to let us seal the pastry so there's no holes, so we don't get all of our filling spilling out all over the place. Once you're done, keep your egg wash handy because we're going to need it again. Okay. Done with that. Then you're going to grab your bowl with your filling.
Wait.
Wait.
I'm not ready yet.
Okay, take your time.
I don't know if anybody else is that, but I actually, when I was a kid, in elementary school, how they give you like 1, 2s, and 3s instead of A, B's, and C's for like cutting and coloring and stuff like that. I got a 3 in cutting, and that is not good because 3 is basically failing. So I was failing cutting and probably staying within the lines too. It was not very good. Okay, all right. Is everybody else good? Because I finally finished.
Give a thumbs up if you're good. All right.
A lot of thumbs up.
All right.
This step's super easy. Your filling in your bowl is going to go in the middle of your pastry, like inside that little egg wash that you just did.
Wait. Oh, the egg wash. Oh, crap. I did the wrong one.
There you go.
Got it. Forgot to switch it.
If anybody messed up, just move your parchment paper into the baking sheet. That's what Jessica just did.
Stacey, how far in are you egg washing?
About a half an inch. If you do a little bit more than a half an inch, that's fine.
Okay, then we're good. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't supposed to do more.
Yeah, you got it. And then once you put your filling in, you're just going to kind of spread it out like up to the egg wash so that you don't have a big old heap in the middle, right? We want it to kind of be even and level. And I'm just kind of pressing down a little bit to make sure that I don't have big clumps. Okay. So you're done with your filling, you're done with your bowl. Now we're gonna wash our hands, make sure they're clean and they're really nice and dry because we're gonna be handling our other pastry now and we don't want it to be sticky. If your hands are wet and you handle pastry, it's gonna be sticky. So if you can't get them quite dry, dip them in some flour. Now what we're gonna be doing is essentially transferring your other round pastry on top of here. Now, because it's kind of thin, it can be a little bit hard. So what you can do, you can kind of see me, is you can fold it like you would a crepe. Like fold it in half and then fold it in half. Okay, pick it up, bring your other pastry in front, unfold it, kind of lay it down, and then unfold the top layer over. Now with that egg wash that we did, we're going to go around and press the edges of the pastry together, kind of like you're crimping a pie, only what we're doing is we're creating a seal here so that all the good stuff is not going to leak out. You're going to get some leakage in the next steps, that's fine. But by sealing this pastry together, it's otherwise everything would go everywhere and it would be all over your baking sheet and in your oven, and that's just not fun. So I went around it once. I'm just going to go around it again to make sure that my edges are sealed. And all I'm doing is I'm just pressing them together like you're sealing an envelope, only less licking. Okay, that part's done. And we're gonna get into the fun stuff here in a second. Okay, so you're gonna grab your small round object, your 2 inches or so object. You're gonna place it in the middle. You can eyeball it. You don't have to be super precise. Once it's placed in the middle, you're gonna gently push down. You don't wanna cut this, okay? So if you have something with a sharp edge, maybe put a paper towel against it. You just wanna make an indentation. So you press it all the way to the bottom, but your goal is not to cut it. You're just indenting. And then nice and easy, remove it. Okay, you can see my circle right here. Now, I'm gonna get rid of this other piece of parchment paper so it's out of my way. Now you're gonna grab a knife, whatever knife you wanna use so long as it's sharp, okay? What we're gonna do is kind of like we're cutting a pizza, okay? But we're not starting from the center, we're starting from our indentation that we just did with our circle. And we're gonna start with 4 spokes, right? So like north, east, south, west, just cut 4 spokes and you're cutting all the way down, okay, into your pastry to the bottom. So just make 1 cut. Now you don't, again, you just wanna kind of come up to your circle, make sure you're cutting all the way down into your pastry and out to the edge. Now here's where things are gonna get messy. Your spinach is gonna start to come out, that's fine.
We are cutting
So-
through the bottom.
Yep, you gotta cut
Oh,
through the
that's right.
bottom.
Okay.
Yep.
I will say that last time I used a little paring knife, and this time I decided to use my like really good sharp knife, and I think this one's working better to get through the spinach and stuff like that. So consider using a good knife that's real sharp for this.
Yep. Yeah, last time I did it too, my cuts didn't go all the way to the bottom, and it's fine. You can fix it as you go along. But it's easier if you cut through the first time. Now, because your pastry has been handled and it's starting to get warm, it's gonna get sticky. So you don't have to rush through it, but we wanna work a little bit faster so that we're not like dragging the pastry out, okay? So after you've done your 4, we're gonna now go back and do another 4. So take each quadrant and cut in the middle again. Now you should have 8 spokes like a wheel. And believe it or not, we're gonna do it again. We wanna have 16 total spokes. So go in the middle of each of your sections and cut 1 more time. And it starts to get tricky because they're gonna get skinny. So just be confident with your knife and just go for it. If they're not all super like equal, that's okay. Don't worry about it. All right. So when everybody's done cutting, go ahead and give me a thumbs up so that I can make sure everybody's ready to go on to the next step. Okay, most people look like they're ready.
Lots of thumbs ups.
Okay, here's where the fun part comes in. You ready?
Yes.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna grab one of our sections, one of our 16 sections at the edge of the circle. You're gonna gently lift it up to make sure that your cuts went through. See, a couple of mine didn't go through. So if your cuts got stuck, go ahead and just take your knife back at it. Lift it up, pull it gently a little bit towards you, and we're gonna twist clockwise about 3 or 4 times, and then you're gonna lay it flat. Everybody get that? And then you're just gonna go along the rest of your pastry and do the same thing. You lift, you pull gently, you twist 3 or 4 times, and then you lay it flat. And this is where the sun part of the sun pastry comes in. Because as you start twisting, you'll see the center looks like the center of the sun, and these little sections look like the rays of the sun. How's everybody doing?
Good. Mine is looking fantastic, by the way.
Nice. Now, keep in mind here, like your stuff's gonna fall out. That's okay. Just keep it in as best you can. And then once you're done twisting, you can always go back in and you can stuff back in some spinach or some feta or whatever it was that fell out. And the cool thing about this appetizer is after you bake it and it comes out, and you can serve it on like a really nice platter or plate, and it kind of acts like pull apart bread in a way. So people can just like pull off a section and it's totally shareable.
Kevin was talking about how it's great for having people come over because and this one is going to be also like, this is a showstopper right here.
Yes. All right, I'm done twisting, and I will kind of lift mine up a little bit so you can see what it looks like. So you've got that circle in the center, that's your sun. And see, like all my stuff popped out. That's okay. Just it's gonna bake exactly where it is. And I have some spinach remnants over here that I'm just gonna toss back in. And then Matt, if you'll let me know, or if everybody will give me a thumbs up when you're done with your twists, we can move on to the next step.
Cindy doesn't follow rules very well.
Shut up.
Sorry, Stacey.
No, I think we're all used to Cindy not following this.
Also, the thing with cooking is that like it's okay to break the rules. It's generally not okay in baking, but when you cook, you can break a couple of rules. It's fine, and then you call it art.
You play, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
That makes so much sense. That's why Jessica is so much better at cooking than baking.
Me too.
You're all going to be on the show Nailed It here real soon.
So true story. We actually have a group of friends that we participate in our own Nailed It competitions, and it's hilarious.
That's awesome.
So what's the craziest thing you guys have done in a Nailed It competition?
Well, 2 Halloweens ago, we just had a Halloween theme. You can make whatever you wanted. And I made a cake with a version of an anatomically correct heart that was bleeding.
Wow.
It was pretty rad.
That's pretty good.
Other people made like dragon eyes, and somebody made like a pie with like a face. I don't know. It's really fun to see other people's creativity.
That's great.
You have very creative friends. If we did that with our family, you can't even imagine what we get.
Imagine.
Oh, look at Dan. Hold on, I got to spotlight Dan here.
Dan, hold on. Let's see what Dan's got. Look at it. He's got his close up. It's looking good.
Super awesome.
All right. So I'm thinking everybody's probably almost close to being done.
Yeah.
So the last step here is we're going to apply an egg wash to the entire pastry so that when we bake it, it gets really nice and golden brown, and the egg wash is going to help crisp it up. So grab your pastry brush and your egg wash, and I would say pretty liberally apply it to any exposed part of pastry. And if you get it on the spinach and the feta, it's no big deal. It's going to cook out. You won't even taste it. So you just want to go all around. The difference between a nice golden brown pastry and a pale pastry is egg wash, believe it or not. So just kind of keep going around, and then make sure you don't really have too many exposed parts of pastry.
Speaking of great pastry, I just got a really good tip from Charlene, I think day before yesterday. When I dropped off her stuff, she said there's a new pastry place called Mi Amor. Is anybody aware of it?
Mm-hmm.
She said that
No.
it is just as good as the pastry, like the croissants, they're savory and sweet and all of that, as the stuff that they got when they were in Paris.
That's right.
Yum.
It's called Mi Flavor. MIFLAVOR.
Flavor, that's right. Yes.
Oh yeah, I've
Thank you,
heard of them.
Charlene.
They do
Yes.
really great macarons, and I
macarons
love
are
macarons.
wonderful.
Yes.
The croissants are authentic, perfect.
Oh man, you're making me want to go there right now. They're probably closed.
Yeah, me too.
What's it called?
My
Mi Flavor. MIFLAVOUR.
Ah, okay. I wonder
Where?
if I can get a quiche Lorraine there.
I didn't see any quiche.
No?
No, and they said that they'd been discovered, and so they used to make big cakes for parties and things like that, and now they do a lot of things you can order online, and then whatever in their store, and it's just like all these fun little goodies, one dish goodies, and wonderful croissants, and of course gelato.
Okay.
Where is this place?
It's on Sprague. And I think
Freya.
yeah, Freya
Sprague
and
and Freya.
Sprague, that area right there.
Wow.
It's
Well, also
the
you can
Odyssey
get
School, Libby School.
you can also get some of their products inside My Fresh Basket down in Kendall Yard.
Oh,
Not everything, but they do have some of their products there too.
Easy.
they're delicious.
They have the macarons at Huckleberry's too.
Ah,
Those are so good.
All right, you guys, after your egg wash is done, we're going to plop it in the oven and set your timer for 20 minutes.
You could put them in there on the parchment, right?
Yeah, keep it on the parchment for sure. That's
Thank
going to
you.
help it so that you can pull it off and it won't stick. Now, everybody's oven is going to be different. So at 425 for 20 minutes, we're gonna check it. We're gonna see if it is to the golden brown that we want it to be yet. If your oven tends to run hot, feel free to check it at about 18 or so minutes, make sure it's not burning. If your oven tends to be slower, then it might take you a little bit longer than 20 minutes. Last time when we made this, my oven's a pretty good oven, and we baked it for 20, and then I left it in for about another 2 minutes because it was just not looking, you know, super how I wanted it to. So I'm gonna set my timer for 20, and then we're gonna take a look at it, and we'll either be ready to pull or we'll need another few minutes. So let me set my timer. Okay, and that's essentially it. Now, the cool thing about this recipe is that you can kind of make it your own in many different ways. You could add some pesto to it if you wanted to go a more Italian route, or if you wanted to go a more Mediterranean route, you could do like an olive tapenade with some sun-dried tomatoes. There's lots of things that you could add into the mixture to make it what you want. The other cool thing is that you can make any kind of dip really that you want to kind of go with it. And some suggestions that we had were a tzatziki dip, which is a Greek yogurt dip. You could just simply melt some butter if you want to make it really, really yummy. You could do some pasta sauce, like a marinara sauce if you want. I mean, there's literally 1,000 different things that you can make to pair with this. Now, I know that we didn't give you any ingredients for dipping sauces or anything, but I'm going to just do a very quick demo on how to make a tzatziki sauce. And tzatziki sauce it can go with anything you want. It's literally Greek yogurt, cucumber, a couple other things. And it can keep well in your fridge, and it's really easy and simple and quick to make. So give me 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna hand it back over to Matt while our stuff bakes. So if you want to just get a small size bowl, I'm gonna get some Greek yogurt out of my fridge. Now I just got the little 7-ounce kind of individual size. If you have a big thing of Greek yogurt, use about a cup or so. And you can use, I got the 2%, you can get the non-fat or you can get the full fat. It doesn't really matter. Depending on the brand that you buy, some non-fat Greek yogurt has a little bit more of a tangy flavor than the full fat. So it's really just your personal preference. Make sure you take the paper off, and then that would be fun to eat. Dump the Greek yogurt into the bowl and get a cucumber. Now this is English cucumber, and I'm not trying to talk down to anybody. I don't know if people know the difference. The English cucumbers are the ones that are wrapped in plastic, versus regular cucumbers are not wrapped in plastic. The difference is the skin in the cucumber. The skin of the English cucumber is more edible than the skin of the regular cucumber. So anytime you kind of see cucumbers cut with the skin on, generally speaking, they're English cucumbers, because it's really hard to chew and digest the skin of a regular cucumber, but with English, it's a lot easier. So I like to go English because I like the taste and it's less work. Let's be real. So you're gonna grate your cucumber. You're not gonna use this whole thing. I would say use about half. And you're gonna grate it. Actually, back up a second. I'm gonna get a separate bowl for this. The reason being is that obviously cucumbers are 98% water, and we're gonna wanna get the water out before we add it to our yogurt. So nice and quick, we're just gonna grate the whole thing. And if you don't feel like grating, you can chop the cucumber, that's fine. I've done both. It's just gonna be a chunky dip versus less of a chunky dip. But either way, just chop it real fine. obviously, you know, the grating doesn't take super long, and it just is a different consistency. That's all. So I just grated it, skin and all. If you want to peel the skin away first, you definitely can. Okay, so we're gonna get all this cucumber out of the grater. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to get the moisture out of the cucumber, much like we did with the spinach. So whether you get a towel or a paper towel, or whether you just grab it by your hands and squeeze it, we want to drain the water. I have these really strong paper towels, so I'm going to dump my cucumber on here out of the bowl. And I'm just going to get that moisture out.
Excuse me, I had a question.
Yes.
Will we be receiving a written copy of these recipes, or of this recipe?
I certainly can. We can definitely get one out to everybody. Yeah.
Okay, because this would be kind of fun to have if get-togethers.
Yeah, absolutely. This was kind of just like when we were talking about, you know, what kind of dips and everything might be fun to have. We realized that we didn't kind of give out an ingredient list for this thing, but I thought it might be fun to do a quick little demo on how to make this dip. It's super easy. So I'm sure that we can figure out a way to get this recipe out to everybody for sure.
Yeah, I meant the puff pastries, but
oh. Yeah, I think we can do that.
Yeah,
Jess, can we do that? Okay.
110%.
All right. You're gonna get some lemon juice to put into your tzatziki next. Now it doesn't have to be fresh lemon, it can be the squeezy kind of lemon juice, but I have fresh lemon, so I'm gonna use it. Make sure that you are not getting the seeds in here, and you probably want about a tablespoon of lemon juice. I did get a seed in there, so I'm gonna pick it out. Okay, quick wash of the hands. Next thing I'm going to do is throw some garlic in here. Now, a cheat that I have is garlic paste. If you ever don't feel like dealing with fresh garlic, you can get garlic paste at most grocery stores, and it essentially like acts as regular garlic. You can do this, or you can do garlic powder if that's easier for you. You want the equivalent of 1 clove. Now, here come the options. I'm going to put a little bit of fresh dill in mine because I like that taste. I like that flavor. And when I say a little bit, I'm probably going to do like a teaspoon, maybe a little bit less, maybe like half a teaspoon. I'm just going to chop it up real quick. Ow, don't chop your finger off. And then throw it into the bowl. And then we're going to get a little bit of salt. Here. You don't want to salt it too much, but just a little bit. And a little bit of pepper. And then you're just going to mix this together.
You okay?
And that is a quick and dirty version of tzatziki sauce. And you can put this on burgers. You can use this to dip with fresh veggies. You can, I mean, honestly, like this stuff can be used anywhere. I love it. If you really want to go the extra mile, throw some feta into your tzatziki and it gives it kind of that extra little salty flavor. I make Greek rice bowls a lot at my house with some chicken and fresh vegetables, and I always throw this on top with some extra feta, and it's so delicious and so easy. So there you have it.
Great. Oh, awesome. And Ruth Michaelis asked, is that what you have in gyros? And yes, that is correct.
Yes.
That's what they put in a gyro. So it's very
yes. And everybody will have a different tzatziki recipe. You go online, you type it in, you're going to find 1,000 different kinds with different ingredients. This is kind of just a basic one. You can add a little bit of mint in here. If you like the flavor of mint, it'll elevate it a little bit. Just find what works for you and your flavor palette and what you like. And As long as it has the basics of Greek yogurt, lemon, and cucumber, you'll be fine.
Wonderful. Kat
Yeah, Kat
asked the question, where did it go?
What would you recommend to do
Oh.
with extra filling?
From the spinach?
I think so, yes.
Honestly, what I would do is I would take your leftover puff pastry and cut it into like strips and put your filling in the middle and then roll it up like a crescent roll and bake it. If you want to do something without the puff pastry with just the spinach filling, I mean, gosh, you could do anything. You could put it in some kind of like salad. You could put it in a sauce. That actually would be really good if you put it in a sauce for some pasta or something, or even pizza. Pizza would work for sure. You can actually use puff pastry as a pizza crust if you wanted to too. It's not quite the same, but it'll work in a pinch.
We were able to make another half a twisty thing. Like
Awesome.
we folded it in half.
I rolled it out. So
Yeah.
There you go. See, industrious.
That's perfect. So one of the things that I did, because I knew that we were doing this, I actually I got some chicken marinating in lemon, oregano, oil, salt, and pepper to make basically a souvlaki chicken. So I'm gonna grab this, and then I'm gonna grill some souvlaki chicken and maybe make a little cucumber tomato salad, and that will be our dinner tonight. So it'll be perfect.
Nice.
That's my chef. That's my wife, the chef. The hat's not just an act. Stace, your finger doing okay there?
Yeah. It's been more than 365 days since I've had an incident with a knife. I'm sorry to say I broke my streak tonight in front of the public.
Do you have one of those? Do you have a sign that will say 0 days since an accident?
No, but I really should have a sign, to be honest. I sharpened my knives ahead of time, which is a good idea, but I'm good though. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. How are we doing on our cook time, Stacy? Just so I kind of have an idea.
I have about 8.5 minutes left on the timer.
Perfect. That's great. I want to just really quick, because we talked about Dan, our signature sponsor, but I want to also give a quick shout out to Tony Byrne from Heritage Home Loans. So give me a second to share his little graphic that he sent us. One of the things I think is important for everyone on this call to know.
Yeah, he looks very industrious.
That's classic Tony. That is classic Tony. Both of these individuals we work with. We have had work with our clients. And we don't just go out and find people that will throw some money at marketing and be like, oh, good enough. Like if they're not quality individuals that we would refer to our true friends and family and people that trust us to make recommendations, we're not interested in it. So Tony is one of those people. Tony is a mortgage lender. He does all mortgage loans. But when I think of Tony, he's done a really good job about creating mind space around veteran loans, so VA type loans. And I have a favorite story about Tony as well. So Jessica, probably a couple of years ago now, was working with some clients that were VA borrowers, and they did not use Tony. They had already been set up with USAA, who's kind of what people think of when they think of veteran loans. And they had an issue with the appraisal. And I thought it was very interesting that USAA was completely useless when it came to what do we do with a low appraisal for a VA loan for her clients. And Tony stepped in with zero compensation because they couldn't change lenders at this point, no matter what they wanted to do. And he literally lined out, here is exactly what you need to do to make an appeal to VA. They got the deal done. The people got the house. But honestly, without Tony and his knowledge and his expertise, it probably would have fallen apart.
And it was the kind of thing where, I called him up, I asked him the questions, and at the end of the conversation, he says, hey, you need anything else or you have any other questions, give me a call back. And I did call him probably 3 or 4 times. So it just talks about the quality of him as an individual. And then, of course, when he actually is the lender, he gets the deals done and he communicates, which for those of us who are real estate professionals, that is what we want. Somebody who actually communicates with us and communicates with their clients. And he does a great job with that.
Okay, so quick, there is a question in the chat. I cut it up and put everything but the bagel seasoning on it.
Everything but.
Oh, maybe she's talking about like answering the question, like what else
and
to
bagel
do.
seasoning on it.
I love everything but the bagel seasoning because it has salt and sesame seeds and a little bit of garlic, and it's delicious.
Kim's giving a suggestion of what to do with the extra is what I'm
And everything but the bagel seasoning. It's actually a seasoning called everything but the bagel. I'm getting it now. I'm getting it.
It is delicious.
It's awesome. Avocado toast.
Yes. And you can find it at Trader Joe's. You can find it, actually, a lot of grocery stores are carrying it now. It goes well literally on everything. So that was a brilliant idea. I'm sad that I didn't think of it first. So kudos to you.
Way to go, Kim. All right, I think we should do some drawings. What do you say?
I'm ready
so,
for it. I
think you should be the draw.
This is how close we are, guys. See? Okay. Hold on.
They can't see the hat.
Oh, here. Here's the hat. I'm not looking, I promise. All right. So what is this for?
This is for, the first one is Kitchen Engine, $50 to Kitchen Engine.
Okay, $50 to Kitchen Engine. Oh man, I hope it's.
And it's your, hold on everybody, it's your handle too. So there's somebody that's called Strain Chaos on here. So if we call you out, you know who you are, and you'll have to like do a little dance.
I'm really hoping I win. Oh, the winner is Ruth Michaelis.
Ruth! Yay. If you're looking at the chat, Ruth has been lurking in the background waiting to win something.
You won Kitchen Engine. And you know what? I went to her house the other day and I helped her buy a house a year and a half ago, and she's putting in a new kitchen. So this is like perfect. Awesome.
All right,
okay.
Ruth.
That's great. Okay.
Okay, next up, this is for Twigs.
Twigs. Oh my gosh. I'm so nervous now.
You're nervous?
I'm nervous. I'm excited. Okay, here we go. And the winner.
All know Jessica's favorite thing at Twigs. It's the enchilada mixta, isn't it?
No.
Okay.
Well, that's her first. That's her dish.
Honestly, it's it's the sticky cookie is what it is. Let's be honest here. I will go there just for a sticky cookie. Here we go. The winner for Twigs is Kathy. Kathy.
Where is
I'm
she?
assuming that's Kathy Hillman.
Yeah, where is she?
Congratulations.
Oh, there she turned her camera off, but we know you're there.
Your neighbor daughter.
I don't turn my camera off.
Oh, there she is. There she is. My camera was just.
Perfect. Okay. Congratulations. Okay, we get one more winner tonight.
I've been here the entire time.
He's been here the
Oh,
entire time.
I know. I would have given it to somebody else if you had turned your machine off.
That's not true. That's not true. Okay, here's the last one.
I'm just hassling her.
Oh my gosh. I wish you could all win. I'm sorry that we don't have a prize for every single person.
Catherine, your mother is frozen.
Okay, now here's the question. Go knock on her door, Kat. Here's the question. What is this for?
This one is for Wanderlust.
Wanderlust. Let me just reiterate. Wanderlust is like the coolest little cheese. It's got cheese. It's got
meat.
Amazing. Now I know I'm not super into wine, but they have a wine club, and then in the back they have like a whole kitchen for classes. Which again, I'm really hoping I win this because I want to do that. The winner is Lincoln. Wait,
there's a Lincoln on. There's Lincoln's on here.
Sorry.
Wait.
Which Lincoln is it?
Lincoln was on and now Lincoln's gone, so we don't even know who it is. We're gonna have to draw a new one.
I think that's my brother, Lincoln, who doesn't live in Spokane. So we're not giving this to him, guys. Sorry. He's not even
And he's not even on the call right now, so he must be present to win.
Oh man, he's an imposter. Unless it's somebody else that's a Lincoln. I don't know very many Lincolns though.
They're gone, so we don't even know who it is. We're gonna have to give it to somebody else.
He's so mad when he realizes that we did this to him. Okay. Next is Eric and Vanessa. Is that?
Yeah, Eric and Vanessa.
Yay, Eric and Vanessa.
Let's see if I can find them and spotlight them.
The whole time when you said what Wanderlust is, I'm like,
we're gonna go there.
Oh, I want to go there so bad.
It's so great. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, love it, love it. It's so great.
It's right downtown, across from Uncle's Games and Uncles and Aunties, you know. So that's where it is, and it's awesome. Yay!
So I'm gonna
Congratulations
put
to all our winners.
I'm gonna put Brittany's email in the chat. If you will each of our winners email her, so she has an easy way to get in contact with you to get you the gift certificates.
Perfecto.
Stace, how are we doing on time? I don't want to.
basically-
I smell stuff in my house, so I don't want to burn
Yeah.
anybody's stuff.
I've got 40 seconds left on my timer, so I'm getting a little antsy. I just turned the light on in my oven and it's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull mine out.
Okay. I will just say this out loud because it's actually a really simple email address. It's just Brittany@EvoReal.com.
Brittany with 2 T's.
Brittany with 2 T's, which is the normal way it's spelled,
I
right?
think it's the traditional way, yes. But
Oh,
there
look
are
at-
lots of.
They've got theirs out.
Oh, who-
It's looking good.
Wait, who? I don't see anybody.
Eric and Vanessa.
How are they on your screen and not mine?
I can see them at the top.
Oh boy.
Little boy.
Oh boy.
All right. Oh man. it's
Oh,
looking
Sarah's
good.
got a good looking one here. I'm got to get on my.
Do this. Don't
Spotlight.
Don't spotlight. Maybe just put everybody on the screen, and then we
Hold
can
on, let
all
me-
see everybody.
That takes a lot of work to remove all the spotlights.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Thing. I'll start going through and there.
I'm gonna leave mine.
That's amazing.
I feel like Dan, like, okay, now if you talk, you're on the screen. So put your stuff up and talk, and then we'll see you.
Yeah,
It's
if you
really.
You can click on the upper right and go to gallery view too, if you guys want to.
Oh, very.
Here's
Oh,
mine.
Kayla and Kathy looking good.
Oh, Kathy, excellent.
Oh, Charlene, let me see that one. Let me see that one, Charlene.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can. Oh, that's looking good.
Oh,
wow.
nice.
It really is looking good. That's
I
fancy.
think you did okay.
I'm
Great.
Sarah, you're doing great too. I see you there.
doing mine a little bit longer because I had
Oh,
mine
Sarah
was a
Jane,
tiny
yeah.
bit doughy on the underside the last time I did this. So I'm gonna go a little bit longer. And so if
Yeah.
anybody's looking at theirs thinking, don't be
I
afraid.
did the same thing, Jessica. I turned it to 4:15, and I'm
Ooh,
going an extra 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
nice. I like that.
Now, when
Eric,
you first take it out,
Egg to there.
you want to let it cool down before you try to transfer it to any kind of other plate. Otherwise, it's just gonna fall apart. So if you are hosting people and you want to put this on a pretty plate and off the parchment paper, just let it cool down a little bit so that it doesn't totally fall apart on you.
It's so good.
And if you, yeah,
Oh, I've been to your house a couple times when you've made a delicious tomato and cucumber salad. You inspired me when you mentioned it. So I have them cut, but what do I put on it?
so here's what I do. I do oil. I actually love avocado oil. It's like my favorite oil that I use. I do avocado oil, red wine vinegar because it's so nice and tangy. Obviously, you got salt and pepper. I do green onion in it as well, so I chop up green onion and put it in there. And then I do, I actually do mustard powder. I put mustard powder in there and oregano. Oregano is like the Greek seasoning of all time. And then I just salt, and I keep kind of going back between the vinegar and the salt. It's delish.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It is delish. I've had it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that smells good, babe.
Look at that.
It's looking good here. Well, you should show everybody.
Okay, here we go.
I don't know where you are on my
There we
screen.
go.
Everybody hit your gallery. Jiminy.
Whoa.
Almost lost it,
It
guys.
looked great until she dropped it on the floor. I'm unspotlighting since we're done. So if you hit gallery view in the top right, you can kind of see what everybody's doing. And then if you want to zoom in, you can.
Is anybody have theirs still in the oven? Like they're still going. Okay, Kat, Dan, Shannon.
Couple minutes, I think.
Yep. Mine
Yeah, don't
kind
rush
of-
it.
Right. So if this is the sun, right around that, I want it to just be a little bit more cooked. So I'm putting mine back in as well. It's
We
awesome.
like it crispy.
Wonderful.
Nobody likes a doughy sun.
Everybody, I want to just say thank you. I thank you for being here. I know this is an odd time. I know it's strange, and we've done the best we can to make this something special that we can still do and still keep all of our kids safe. And yeah, it's been a journey for all of us, but this is super fun. I actually was talking to Catherine saying, oh my gosh, I won't be sad to have an in-person thing, but I love the cooking stuff. I just think it's so much fun. So who knows? Maybe we'll try and do this every once in a while and still do a cooking thing.
Ashley and Dan are waving. Oh, they're waving at kids. Are you guys waving at kids, or are you guys bailing out? I can't tell who's doing what.
Oh, look at all those cute people on there.
Yeah, we're waving at our nieces and nephews. I mean, we're waving at you guys too. But...
Oh, thanks.
Hi.
That's wonderful. So we are going to stay on here a little bit longer, just to chat and talk, but we have completed our evening. So yeah, if you need to leave, feel free to leave, but if you want to hang out, we'd love to talk and chat and see how you're doing.
It's coming out. It's coming out.
Oh, wait, spotlight Dan.
Oh, whoa, don't put it on that.
Oh, yes. Man, that camera is really good, Dan.
Thanks, I know.
Right.
Don't burn the counters.
Dan,
don't burn the counter.
Dan, you have a good enough camera that you should be doing your own cooking show, you and Melissa. What would you name that cooking show?
No one wants that horror.
Hey, Kevin, I didn't see yours. I want to see yours.
Yeah, Kevin.
Kevin, show us your
Well, I've already started eating it, so I use hummus. I've got hummus on it instead of tzatziki. It turned out great.
Excellent.
That's a good one.
Oh, wait, whose is that? Lucy. I got to spotlight Lucy there. That is looking good. Oh, don't take your camera away. It's beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Thanks.
Really good.
Lucy's is beautiful.
She nailed the sun. It's got like a face in it.
I actually forgot the eggs, so I did milk for the wash, and then I had to broil it for like 2 minutes at the end.
Oh, that's a good idea. A little brown.
That'll work. That'll work.
The sun looks like it's like,
For
What is
sure.
the dish called again?
What's that?
What is the dish called again?
It's called a Tarte Soleil. Tarte.
Can we call it Tarte Soleil? Ole! Like that?
Different languages, but sure.
That's true.
You have to do that again when everybody's watching you.
Oh, Tarte Soleil. Ole! That should go.
That made my day.
Good.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. This was fun.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Enjoyed it. I didn't know I could cook like that.
Great.
I'm impressed too, Charlene. It looks great.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. I'm going to have more of my drink.
I think like a honey walnut dessert version of this would be good.
Oh,
yes. Essentially, that's, very close to baklava.
Yeah. Which I love. I could eat.
Oh, back demon.
Ours is on the couch.
Yeah, he's over there.
He's cocked out on the couch.
He's not happy about his life.
Shannon, are you saying goodbye? I see you waving.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, now we can.
Thank you, guys. This was wonderful. It was very fun.
Thanks for being here, Shannon.
Oh, man.
How did yours turn out, Shannon?
Good night, Kevin.
How did it turn out for you, Shannon?
Oh, I don't know if you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well done.
How did it turn out? I like to keep it a little bit longer. All right, you guys, we'll see you next time around.
All right.
Bye, Jen.
Bye.
Good night.
Erica, are you going to show yours off?
Oh, yeah, hold on.
Right? What some of this?
Okay, so I was working with gluten-free dough, and there was no way I was going to try to do the whole twisty thing because gluten-free dough is super picky. So I just did a square, and I think it turned out pretty good. So
Nice.
Excellent.
Yay, gluten-free.
I'd say you're hip to be square there, Erica.
Uh-huh.
Everyone's saying goodbye. We have to go to bed now. It's past your bedtime.
Good
Oh yeah, it's
night.
past my bedtime too, Brett.
Good night. What time
I
is it?
do.
7 o'clock.
Yeah, I wish
Bye,
I 7 o'clock.
Bye.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi, Brittany.
Thank you so much. We really enjoyed this. And Stacey, you're an amazing teacher. And we
Thank
just
you.
I'm just saying, if you do cooking classes on the side, Clara and I would hire you. Come on. Yes.
I've actually been asked to teach at Wanderlust, and I haven't done it yet. So maybe soon.
Oh,
That would be awesome.
that's amazing.
I love how you break everything down. You explain things. You give us a little bit of history. It's really amazing. Thank you so much for inviting us to this party again. And, you know, we just appreciate, and Stacey, you know how much we appreciate you. This journey here, the house that we have, you know, so thank you, everyone. And my kids are now eating everything. They just came out of the
Run away from the camera.
So as they came out, we're gonna say good night. Thanks again, you guys.
Good night.
Hi, you guys.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, Stacey doesn't have time to teach at Wanderlust because she's closing too many deals.
No kidding.
Hi, Mo.
The Bob Brad.
Hi, Lily.
Hello. Oh, they're so cute. We never get to see them. It's always just the baby.
Come on, Mo. Mo, you're up.
Hi,
Not
Lily.
just the baby, sorry.
Nope, she's
But you
hiding.
know what I mean.
Hi, Lillers.
Here too.
Lily,
Oh.
what are you going to be for Halloween?
Rapunzel.
Rapunzel.
Oh, Rapunzel. I thought she said a
I'm gonna be a coronation if my dress, if my gloves on, my crown on.
She's gonna be Elsa Coronation, in case anybody didn't catch that.
Yeah, I think most people probably missed it.
Yeah, then the dress.
That's amazing.
Does it have a good dress?
Yeah, it's the coronation dress specifically.
Yeah, I'm going to wear it for Halloween.
Mommy, that's wonderful.
I'm gonna have a coronation dress for Halloween too.
Your Uncle Matt, he's gonna.
We should go together, kiddo.
You.
See that.
Actually, I think I'm gonna do the pirate again and see if I can like braid my own hair instead of the wig this year.
No, please.
Man, I got a lot of eye rolls on that.
Yeah,
Jeez.
a lot of eye rolls. A lot of eye
Jeez.
rolls. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking that chicken that I got and I'm just putting it onto the baking sheet and I'm just gonna bake it in the oven.
You're baking the chicken and then we're just gonna eat it together. Is that the plan?
Yes. That's what we're gonna do, Matt. That is what we're gonna do.
I'm gonna do shrimp with mine.
Ooh.
Is that Cindy that said that?
Yep.
I'm kind of a shrimpaholic. If you ask my husband, he will say there's no kind of about it. I eat it a couple times a week.
Sometimes maybe for breakfast.
Really?
We put red pepper flakes in ours, and it's real. I like the spice.
Ooh, pepper flakes. We should have done red
That's a good
pepper.
idea.
That's a good idea.
The pizzas. I did like the pizza sauce for a dip. It's pretty good.
That's great. Cindy, what's your favorite way to eat shrimp?
Honestly, I make a Cajun coating. I don't do it this way very often, but it's my favorite. I make a Cajun coating with adobo and chipotle pepper and what's my other one, honey? Ancho chili pepper and cornmeal because it's crunchier. And then I fry it in avocado oil. And then if that's not fattening enough, I dip it. I make my own chipotle mayo and dip it in that. And it is over the top good. I could eat 127 of them.
Okay.
You know
But
what, this would
usually
pair.
just boil it, huh?
I was just thinking this would pair really well with, if anybody likes like a linguine with clam sauce.
Oh,
Like that garlic butter sauce. This would go really
Yes.
well with something like that.
Yeah, it would. It's really good.
Yep.
Okay, I finished mine finally. I was a little bit late because I was talking to kids, but I made.
Hey!
Oh, it's pretty.
Spotlight
No,
her.
give me a second. Give me a second.
I can't. We're gonna spotlight you.
Yeah, we want your. Oh, look at that.
Oh.
I already took that one off, but it was just a circle. I wasn't interested in making fancy shapes. I was like, what scraps do I have? And how can I put it together?
Looks like you went for the Popeye version there, Kat.
What do you mean? What's that?
It's like, looks very spinachy.
Well, I didn't use a big enough lid, I don't think. And so I also have like a bunch of leftover insides because I didn't use a big enough lid.
Oh, I like that the Popeye version. Mine is not the Popeye version because Matt forgot to grab enough spinach, and I only had a little. It's true though.
How's it my fault?
I told you to go get the spinach and you didn't get it.
You're right. I completely forgot to put it in the basket.
Yes. So then I just had a little bit left, but so this is like very like
I kind of like it though.
lemon forward and cheese forward, and I love it.
I kind of like it. It was. I liked the lower level spinach on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I only did 12 ounces, and then I made up for it with a little bit of extra regular fresh spinach.
I used all fresh spinach.
And
I
I suggest it too.
also use gorgonzola because I'm not a feta fan.
Oh, you know what I love? I love the variety, like the creativity of changing and tweaking it. Stacey, you have trained us so well that we know how to like add and subtract ingredients and make it our own.
That's awesome. I love it.
And a ton of garlic, fresh garlic.
Right.
Delicious.
I also just thought that if you're into like lasagna, you just throw some ricotta in with the filling mixture and it would be great filling for lasagna.
Great idea. Great idea. Yeah. Oh man, this is good. Really
And
good.
Dave, when you start that teaching gig at Wonderlust, just make sure you tell the whole sphere about it, and it'll be sold out in like 4 hours. And then they'll
Yeah, for real. We might have to EvoReal might need to sponsor some of your classes.
I'm down. I'm down. Yeah, I already know in my mind what I would want to teach anyway. So
Tell us.
So it's essentially a steak dish, similar in ways to what we made last year. In that I would make a whipped gorgonzola on top of the steak, topped with crispy shallots, and I would do a palm puree, basically like a potato puree on the bottom. I've made it here at home before. It's delicious with a balsamic reduction for some sauce. Yeah,
I've seen it. I've seen it on your Facebook or Instagram. I've seen you do that.
Yes.
Yum.
It's my favorite dish to make.
What we need to really consider is how we could facilitate something like this once we don't have to do things virtually. That would be amazing.
We should find a commercial kitchen to rent out and maybe do something like that.
Great idea.
Oh,
cool.
Love it.
I love it. All right, I gotta check my chicken.
Check your chicken, babe. Check our chicken.
All right, we're out. Thank you guys. That was awesome.
Bye, Cindy. Bye, Kelly.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Great to see you, Kelly.
Good seeing you guys. Looking forward to Christmas.
Yes.
Right around the corner, believe it or not.
I'm gonna get Cindy to start shopping now for her ornament.
With the whole supply chain thing, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, does that mean you guys didn't like my farting Santa?
Did she re-gift it back to you by chance?
Didn't I?
I just don't
My son.
For those that are still on the call that are not part of our real estate team, it has become tradition for our Christmas holiday party to have a gift exchange and like an ornament exchange. And the ornaments are not, they're usually interesting. I'll just say it that way. It's like one of the
Minotaur Santa.
The Scimitar Santa, a
Minotaur.
washing machine, the
Yeah.
farting Santa.
The washing machine?
Yeah, the washing machine was a hit. It's one of those exchanges where you get to steal it, so you really want either a really good one or a really bad one.
Yes.
Those are
I
the
always do one Star Wars one because Julia has to have that, and then she like it's cutthroat. So I love that.
I don't know how she does it. Every year, Julia gets exactly what
So we
she
got Seahawks. We got Seahawks last year, so I don't hear
Oh, that is even better because her husband is a huge
any.
giant.
Baby Yoda though. Stands right.
Giants.
Yes.
you guys.
I mean, they're terrible, but yes.
I know they are, but still, they got to win.
Sarah, are you a
That
Giants
day.
Yeah, I grew up a Giants fan.
I did not know that.
And she's our neighbor.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a deep South Hill thing or something.
Well, mine was because I grew up in upstate New York, and my dad was a Giants fan, so
You should be a Buffalo fan if you're like in upstate New York.
closer to New York than Buffalo. No, Bill.
The worst.
Bills, ew.
Ew.
Boy, I love Super Bowls.
That's like saying the 49ers for us or the Cowboys. Everyone
No,
hates the
exactly.
Cowboys. I don't know.
Raiders. I'm not Raiders. I'm not.
I don't care.
Ooh.
Not a football fan.
I prefer just a good sporting event.
Yeah, I'll go to a football. I've never been to a professional football game.
Then you can't say you don't like it. You got to go.
I don't think so.
Yes. Yes.
I went to the Huskies game with Ethan for homecoming a couple weeks ago, and we left right after halftime.
He's very disappointed
Yeah.
in the dogs right now.
Well, the Cougs we went to a Coug game 3 weeks ago and they won and they did great, but there's a lot of controversy there, so we won't go into that.
The best part of the trip was that I got the dog pass. Somehow they decided that I passed as a UW student, so I got to hang out with all the students.
Perfect.
I'm sure they loved that.
Whatever. Oh,
Yeah, wait till
Okay.
you hear this. Wait till
You're
you
gonna
hear
love this.
That's there. Hide the booze back in your
So
bag.
here's the conversation in the frat house right now, Kat, is Ethan, how come your dad is so much cooler than you?
He made so much of an impression that Ethan's like, Dad, they all love you. It's crazy. Wow.
Matt just eats it up.
I was gonna say that.
I loved it.
He's like, okay, guys, get me on the keg. Let's go. He just have the sun left, apparently.
Oh my goodness.
I called Ethan a pledge in front of all of them, and that went over really well with all of his friends, not so much him.
You're my boy, Blue.
All right, I don't know if you can see the dog stalking me back there, but I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I see him.
Yeah, I gotta go too.
Oh yeah, you better watch it. They're gonna take that whole thing off the counter.
Did you wash your zester? That's my question.
What was that?
Did you wash your zester?
Did I wash my zester?
Yeah, wasn't your dog didn't your dog like zester?
Yes, I washed it. Yeah, he wouldn't let me take a picture. He just wanted to bite it.
Sarah posted a picture earlier today of her dog like chewing on her brand new zester. It was very cute.
Yeah.
A little context, Jessica. It goes a long ways.
Sorry.
Picture. I did not on it instead. But
Our
that's okay.
children are starting to sneak food too.
Good.
Well, you're
All right,
Kat.
everybody.
We'll see you later, Sarah. I don't mean to keep
Hi,
you.
Sarah.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye, everybody.
Kat, will your kids eat this?
I don't know. They're not. I don't have them for a couple days, so it'll probably be gone by the time they come.
Would they eat it? Do you
She's
think?
pretty spinach heavy.
You are.
I mean, I hide it in their pancakes on the weekend, But actually, we did go shopping for it the other day. My mom was with us, and we were like in the frozen spinach aisle, and Owen's like, ew. And I was like, no, it's the same stuff we put in your pancakes. It's going to be fine. And then we like drove to a brewery, and we stopped outside, and I was like, okay, let's get out. And he was like, can we have a snack? And I was like, yeah, we'll have a snack. And he's like, oh, but not the spinach, mama. And I was like, that was like an hour ago. Why are we talking about the spinach?
How does he even know? Like, that's crazy.
I think they just, like, why are kids so against frozen green vegetables?
That is fun.
Catherine, your children are so pro healthy. It's incredible. I love it.
Half of them are.
How's school going, Catherine?
What?
What's that?
How's school going?
Oh, hi, Melissa. You were like, weren't on my screen. I was like,
no, it's all good.
Melissa, but I do not see her. It's good. It's really fun.
Nice.
And I love the stuff that I'm learning. And
yeah,
like some classes are dumb and I don't pay as much attention, and other ones I like really like, and I do all for it. How about you?
Yeah. So right now.